Hello out there, and good day to everybody. Thank you for joining us today for our overview of the Aladtec scheduling system and workforce management solution for the law enforcement departments out there. My name is David Snyder. I'm a system specialist and trainer here on our support team, and I'm joined in the background by Nancy, who's going to help with some questions in the background here as well today. And today is just basically to give you a kind of an overview of the Aladtec system and show you some of the functionalities that are available within the system. And we hope you find some good ideas out there to maybe get you to want to look a little further into how it works, and maybe we can set up a time and a chat with you to get into more of the specifics of your particular departments and your needs. You're going to find how customizable the system is and what the situations we've come across with all the other customers that we've come across for the law enforcement community. So we hope you get a chance to give us a call or sign up for a free demo, and we'll be able to walk you through whatever you might need. If you have questions as we're going through the demo today, there is a questions panel in the webinar control panel there. Feel free to submit them there, and I'll try to answer what we can. Nancy will do the same. And then, of course, after our overview, please take the time to get a hold of us and maybe talk a little bit more. So what are we going to be talking about today? Let's take a look. So we're going to be looking at a sample system of a demo for the law enforcement. We're going to be taking a look at how to manage your members and what kind of information we can store for that in our member database. We'll be talking about schedules, of course, and we'll have example schedules of how you can customize the different locations and positions and rotations and things like that, and how to manage the schedule day to day with your transactions of trades and time off and things like that. We'll look at our forms functionality, which has recently expanded to give you an opportunity to make your world paperless. Of course, everything in the system can be taken out of the system on the back end in terms of reporting. You'll be able to customize the reports to your needs. And, payroll is a big subject that a lot of people talk about. So we'll be able to show you all the different versions and options that we have here to get the payroll information from the system out and over to your payrolls providers. And then we can look at a few other things as well. Okay, so let's dive into our, get right into the system here. We have our sample demo here system here. We're looking at the home page of a particular system here. When you become a customer or when you're going through the demo, it is a custom URL that we build just for you. It'll be one that you're going to be able to share with all your members, and that's how you're going to access the system, because it is web-based. It's out there, and you can access it from anywhere. As long as you have an internet connection and a device with a browser, you can get on it all the way from a Mac or a PC down to a tablet or an iPad, and even on your phone, Androids or iOS. It's all through the same web-based URL. The information that you have out there is always up to date. It's current. Any upgrades or anything like that are automatically pushed, so you'll always be looking at the live information. You don't have to download an app or install or anything, or monitor for upgrades or anything like that. So you'll see that as part of when you get logged in, everybody can provide their own credentials. Each member will be able to set their own password and get logged into the system. And when they do, we're going to look at the home page here. We're going to start here. You'll find it's very easy to navigate the user interface here. Looking at the tab across the top here, we'll be able to just navigate to any part of the system right across with the menu items here across here. You can customize your home page as you wish. And if I can just mention up front, we're going to notice all the free information that comes along with your system. Free training, however long it takes to get your system up and running. And that's the great part of setting up a demo, because all that pre-work will be done for you. We'll be able to take a custom demo of your information and have it all out there, and you'll be able to work with the system just like it was a live system for free, and you'll be able to interact with your your departments and your supervisors and see how it works for you and make sure it's all good. And then that system basically becomes your live system. And then we'll just go on your schedule, how you feel comfortable to do any amount of free training, all the way from admins down to your members. Free upgrades come with the system. You can utilize the system on any browser that's out there. We usually like to just say, just have your one of the major browsers out there. It works with anything, but just have, those major browsers upgrade on their own. So you always have the nice updated version of your browser. Firefox, Chrome, and Edge are the big ones, of course. Internet Explorer is kind of going away, as you may know. So stay on the Edge side of things when it comes to Windows there. And then those free upgrades of our system are we're constantly releasing everything from just minor to major fixes, and that all comes with your system. Any upgrade that happens automatically gets pushed, and that becomes part of your system, and you can utilize it. And then, of course, there's us as your support. You're going to find that this is the greatest support team out there, and I'm one of them, and I hear it from a lot of folks. So it's nice to hear. You call, we answer, and we talk about any questions that you may have, and you'll be able to experience that as well during any demo process if you like. And we can do as many of these online screen trainings and overviews as you wish, and we can even set those up on the fly as well. We have one number here, one email available to you, so you'll be able to contact us at any time through those venues, or we even have an online chat that you'll be able to use as well. You'll see here on the homepage once you get logged in, just starting right from the get-go here, I'm in the system here as what we call a top-level administrator. That means I have access to do and see and edit everything. You will be in control of your own system. You can set your own rules. You'll be able to set your own parameters of exactly who can see what and where. How the system works, customize all your lists and your schedules and your people. There's very little that you'll need to contact us for in terms of managing the system. We're just here to help you, show you the way, to help you, show you how to do it. And if you want to utilize us to be your, busy work and help you get things in there and make changes for you, you can certainly do that as well. But it's all within your control within the system. And looking at the system on the homepage here, you'll see the dashboard here, which is kind of a nice quick look as you're open up the system for the first time, or when you get logged in on your homepage, you'll be able to see things like, as an admin, if there's anything on the to-do list here, right? We have change requests that can be submitted through the system, such as signing up for a shift, people trading their shifts, asking for time off, and you'll see some of those things are listed here, and if those things need to be approved or denied via your admin staff, you'll be able to see more details of exactly who submitted what and when, and this is just one quick shortcut way to look at any particular request, see the details of how they've been submitted, and you can just go ahead and approve or deny those as you go. Now, this is just one place of many that you can do this. You will see along the way how they're all displayed. You're going to find that as well throughout the system. There's many ways to do the same process, and it just becomes the best, most efficient way what works for you when you're looking through the system. You'll also see some quick shortcuts here of your own schedule if you have any upcoming shifts that are listed here. We're going to see in the member database how it also tracks date fields and when they're due to expire, things like certifications or training updates or anything like that. You'll be able to see that right here from a member or an admin standpoint. Any events that are posted on the calendar, they're right here as well. If you have trainings or monthly meetings or payroll is due, or wash the truck. Yeah, I mean, it's something as simple as an event of that, or a football game or a parade or whatever it happens to be. Those can be listed out there, and you can see a list of those events. Any trades your way, and then you'll see a discussions area too for any unread posts. So let's start here along the menu bar to just look different areas of the system. We always like to start in the members, of course. It kind of just goes, you got to start with your people. So if we go right to the member database here, we're going to see an example list of all the folks that are in our example system here. And we store all sorts of information in here, everything from phone and email to what kind of employee they are. And then you're going to see how you can customize it to also store everything you might need, from general information for emergency contact information to, what size uniform they have, or different certifications and trainings and things like that. This is just a database, if you will, looking at all your members. You'll be able to send messages from the system. This is a big option from the system, of course. If you have phone and email, you'll be able to select whoever you may want to send a message to, and choose the send message option and send out a one-way message to anybody via text or email or both. You can select everybody as well. Let's take a look at one particular member and see what that looks like. We're going to use Frankie here, and we're going to hover over their name and edit the member. We have some high-level information that are listed on what's on their profile. Just simply what are their first and last name, username to get logged in. You'll be able to reset their password to their email. Some other information here as well. We'll be able to control basically what they have authority over, what is their access level in the system, whether it be a top level, a member, or somewhere in between. Work group, that's going to manage what kind of rules they follow. You may have different sets of rules for different groups of people, who can trade their shifts, what kind of trades, work limits, all those kinds of things when it comes to interacting with the schedule, what set of rules to follow. You'll be able to see that. We've also expanded on our payroll options here within the system quite a bit for those departments that get a little more complex, again, with people that follow different pay periods or different profiles. They get paid in different fashion than other departments. You'll be able to customize that as well to be able to just set for your members how they get paid and over what range of time. Notifications are a big part of the system. Your members will be able to manage that through the next couple sections here. They'll be able to manage what their phone number is, what carrier they belong to. Email addresses can be listed here, and you can add more as well. They'll be able to choose what kind of notifications they get from the system. We've experienced that a lot, that some people like to get them all, some people don't like to get them at all. So you get to choose for yourself from your own notifications, whether you get notified for your time off if it's been approved or denied by email and or text. And so the member gets to choose for themselves how that gets delivered. There's other message alerts here as well, such as a coverage alert, which we'll talk about when you send out the alert to let them know there's a shift available. Form notifications, those are triggered from forms. We'll look into that. The expiring fields on this particular profile, and then even an upcoming shift reminder. Hey, don't forget you're working tomorrow. Members will also be, or I should say administrators as well, will also be able to set their own notification options of which they get from other members, right? When somebody submits a new time off request or sign up or trade that needs to be approved, do I want to be pinged about that? Do I want to note about right away? And they'll be able to determine which groups and which members that they get notifications from in which format as well. Work qualifications, this is just setting right up front, where is this person allowed to work? This list is the list of schedules that you'll be able to customize and which jobs are available within each of those schedules. And of course, not everybody can work everywhere necessarily. So you're going to just set that right up front and make it a lot easier to schedule down the road of exactly who are the detectives and who belongs in dispatch and who are on patrol. And that'll also workflow down to what shifts are available to them and help you get coverage for it as well. So you'll be able to manage that as well. And then everything from general information down here is what I talked about before in terms of extra, basically. You can customize all this to be whatever you want it to be. We have a member database configurator here, which works very similar to a form. It's very easy, drag and drop, and you can add and remove an unlimited amount of fields in here to basically set it up to be whatever you want. This is all in here by default, but if you don't use some of these, you can certainly get rid of them. And you can see you can add fields such as just regular text fields, date fields, number fields, lists, choices, checkboxes, expiring dates where the system will track that as well. And you can even lock that down for your members to say if you had a CPR certification and you want to make sure that they're up to date, and you can even put a restriction on that field to say, hey, this person's not allowed to work if this date is expired. You'll be able to set that as well and be able to manage those kinds of things. All right. So from the member database, we just have the ability to store all that information, and then this becomes your membership database. Of course, you'll see along the way in the system, you'll be able to export whatever you might need. You can see this is a table, rows and columns. You can export to a CSV file along with any reporting, and then be able to import it into, say, any spreadsheet program like Excel, and do some data mining that way if necessary. You can print what you might need. We have the ability to take this screen and make it a printer-friendly version as you needed, and be able to print it as needed. You'll be able to filter on what you're looking at here. A big part of the system is the customization. I know I say that a lot, but that's really true. You can customize whatever you're looking at on the big screen here to what you want. There may be too much information, or maybe you need to filter it and look at a particular group or set of individuals. You can use the filter options here to do that. There are some pre-saved filter options, or you can make your own. You can click on edit here and say you want to, filter on just your full-time members. You can simply do that. I know I'm just kind of going through a fast option here, but if I just say, just show me all the employees that are full-time, you can apply and then just hide all that other information in the background. So again, it's just a matter of customizing what you wish. You can sort on any column and so forth. So as you're navigating through a system, if you get a chance through a demo, don't be afraid to hover and just click on things and see what they do. We encourage that quite a bit. Let's move over to schedules here. Let's get into the heart of the matter here and see what a schedule looks like. We're going to go under the schedules tab here to the schedule views. Now this again is customizable, of course. This is again, you get to choose what you're looking at. In this case, it's defaulting to what we call the monthly calendar view. We're looking at kind of a calendar on the wall, and we can see day by day for the month of May here, different locations of your schedules and who is working where and what hours. We can see some open shifts here that are detail, and then we see some other elements here such as time off. We can see who's on time off, who's on a trade, and there's little indicators that say who's working for who on what trade, for those kinds of things. We see some signups down here with a little A indicating it's pending approval. So it looks like we got some dispatchers signing up for a open dispatch spot here. And we can see this little indicator even here saying, oh, we're short here. This is a minimum staffing warning, letting you and the system know and the people know that we're short a member, looks like here, for the night shift on dispatch. And that's why we have some folks signing up for that. So there's some more visual indicators for you. And there's an event we looked at that's in a different color scheme there. You can look at this. You can look at the calendar from any point of view that you wish. Like I said, this is just defaulting to the monthly calendar view, but you could use these icons here to basically manage it to whatever point of view if you like. A very popular one in law enforcement, of course, is the roster for the day. So that's what we call a daily summary view. So here's where we can just look at a glance for one day in time and see exactly who's working where, and a little more detail right up front here because there's a little more screen space to work with of exactly who's in what position. And then you can see down below any other sorted other information. If I navigate to say the 13th here, you can see those signups that we were looking at here and somebody on time off and so forth. Open shift. There's the minimum warning again. You can look at it from, say, weekly shifts. This is another popular one here too. You can get a glance at a week at a time and see who's on which shift along the way. So again, it's your prerogative to view the schedule as you wish. You'll notice here, maybe one of the icons is a blue envelope here next to these dates. And these are what we're going to use for what we call a coverage alert. If there's any day with an open shift in the future, we want to make it easy for you to get the word out, to let people know that there is available shifts for coverage. If they're not logging in and checking on their own, this is your way of just pushing it out there and saying, hey, if I click on the blue envelope here, 1, 2, 3, everything's kind of preset to go. And if I hit send, just from this point, it will automatically know I have a dispatch open schedule. It'll automatically know who's not already scheduled and who those dispatch people are. And it'll go out to everybody all at once, letting them know with a template email and text all at the same time saying, hey, there's an open shift tomorrow, who wants to work? And a link will take them right back to the system and allow them to sign up for that shift. So let's take a look at how that looks. Once you send that out, how do they respond to that shift? There's no reply to the email or text. There's no inbox to check or whatever. Their response is basically, hey, I want that shift. I want to sign up for it. So how do they do that? When a member logs in, we want them to go right to their own information, and we have them all tied together by their own schedule in what we call the My Schedule page. So we're going to use Frankie as another example here. So this is Frankie looking at their own information without all the other stuff involved. So this is just their own information that they can see for themselves and see exactly when they're working. In blue, it's all nice and color coded and everything pops out as necessary. There's a legend over here on the left, and these things can be toggled on and off. You'll see events are in brown there, and they toggle on and off. If you want to toggle on and off your scheduled shifts, or if you want to see what's available, if Frankie comes in and got that notice saying, hey, there's a shift open, they are able to go ahead and turn on open shifts for the future here and see what's available to Frankie. And Frankie can maybe come along here and say, hey, it looks like they're short on the 18th. I can hover over that particular date, and Frankie would be able to click on this shift and simply sign up for it. And it would send a notification out to the admins letting them know that they're asking to work. And then it would be on them to approve. I'm seeing other indicators that are kind of neat here. There's a nice little note feature here that the admin can add. So you can see, that there's a nice note there saying for extra thanks, just saying that, something else is going on that day. It's kind of a nice little extra sticky note going on for the day, or whatever it might you need it to tell, communicate to your members. They can navigate to any month as they wish. Again, they can print if they want. And this is where they interact with all their own information. We always say, when in doubt, go to the My Schedule page. You can ask for trades, you can ask for days off, you can ask for shifts, you can submit your availability if necessary, if you use that, and that'll be in there as well. There's also an ability to sync your information to an outside application. You can take this calendar and sync it to an outside app like iCal, Outlook, Google Chrome, whatever you might have, Google Calendar, I should say. It's as simple as setting up an outside subscribed calendar account, and you can get the link and the information right from here as a member to do that. So your own information can be used in your own personal calendar, or if you have a shared family calendar that you want to post out there, so that your other members of your family, say, don't have to log in to see their shifts. It would automatically feed the updates to that calendar. So you'll be able to do that as well. As you're looking at the schedule as an admin, of course, we've just been viewing the calendar. What happens when we need to get in here and start doing things and start moving stuff around and making changes and things like that. That's when you're going to go down to like the second half here. These are all viewable, and to look at the schedule and the different information. These are more the admin tools here. And the main admin tool that we have here is something called the hourly editor. This is your workspace. This is how you're going to be able to edit any given schedule for any given day. And if we want to look at this particular dispatch schedule, we can even simply go there directly, as you can see, by just hovering over the dispatch schedule, and we're going to edit it. And it takes us into basically like I said, our workspace. This is how your whiteboard or what you've been using on scratch paper or whatever. This is how you look at the schedule and move people around and add people, remove people, look at any pending signups from your members, and you can see the scope of each day for each of your schedules and deal with it as necessary. This is the hourly editor. There's a lot of fun drag and drop feature functionality within here to give you a better idea of how to manipulate the schedule. Like I said, if you're hovering over particular shifts here, you can see June on a dispatch shift here. Let's say, for example, tomorrow's Thursday, June calls in sick, and she can't get to a machine or her phone or whatever to ask for that time off. Well, you as the admin can just do it on her behalf. You can just hover over this 3 little lines here, and you can simply delete the shift if you want, or you can even submit time off on June's behalf. So you can see here, I can, as an admin, say, oh, she's going to be on sick leave. This is a list of time off types that you control and monitor, and can be called whatever you wish. You'll be able to do that, set up what you need it to be. The system will also track buckets of time if need be as well. Maybe they only get so many hours of sick leave per year and they accrue based on how many years of service that they have. The system will monitor that as well, and that'll all be displayed here, so you'll be able to reference that as we go and how much it's going to cost. And then you can simply just approve that time off and say June comes off the schedule with sick leave, and now we can go down to the list down here and look for somebody else, and who are we going to get to fill it, for that daytime slot. And we can see our list of people here, what's going on with those folks on that same timeline. We see Charlotte here has entered in some availability, saying that they've preferred to work there, so they've done that ahead of time. So we can simply, here's a drag and drop function for you. Charlotte here, we can literally take Charlotte and just grab their name and bring it right up to the schedule and put them right in. And it just drops it in there for you. And then even after you put it up on the schedule, you can take either side of it and you can just grab it with your mouse and make it longer or shorter, or pick it up and move it to wherever you need it to go, make it what you will. So lots of ways to manipulate the schedule, or you can just take it off. And then maybe you wanted Jonathan to be in there. We can take Jonathan and add them in via other methods here with an add button. There's warnings to tell you that they're working too many hours, maybe, right? And then we can even change their type. You can say this is a, as indicated by the bubble there, this is a regular shift. You can change it. We have the option of assigning shifts. I know overtime is big in most police departments. So you want to be able to, designate what's an overtime shift and what's not, and what's their rate of pay and so forth. You can customize that list as well. You'll be able to insert any label on any particular shift for any time period and say exactly what the reason is that they're working, and it will be indicated on that shift. Then of course, filter down into reporting. You can bring in and move shifts around based on other locations here. If you bring in your patrol schedules, like I said, you get to control what you're viewing on the big screen here. And here's our patrol shifts, and you'll see some other shifts that are just kind of like extras day to day, and they're blocked out, so we don't necessarily need them. But we can certainly slide those open as well and move people around as needed if it's a kind of a work up situation. If somebody gets called off and Frankie's going to be the sergeant, and in some cases you can't. If Frankie's not allowed to be a sergeant, it's not going to allow you to put them there, and that seems to be the case here. You'll be able to reference a lot of data down here for your members. You'll see the calculator column here too. You'll be able to reference a lot of like mini reporting options, such as where they are in the priority of the overtime list. And I know that's a big one. How many hours they've worked already, how many overtime hours they've worked. Again, you'll be able to customize all that. And as part of your workspace, without leaving the screen, you'll be able to utilize any of that. Not only can you put people on the schedule 1 day at a time, 1 hour at a time, half hour at a time, you can also use the repeat and rotations tool, which allows you to add people to the schedule over a range of time and save you a great deal of time. You'll be able to put people on their rotation for up to 2 years out and be able to manage those through the tool here. And it works basically through logic, saying just exactly whatever you might need to set for any particular member, and you just walk through the details from the top down and say exactly where Beach here is going to be working, in what slot, how often, what's the repetition type, is it every week, is it every 2 weeks, is it a 24/48, is it, whatever it happens to be. We can customize any pattern you wish within the system. If you have a unique pattern, if you need the 223 or the California pattern, we can add that in here, and anything that repeats we'll be able to build for you as well to make it available to you whenever you need. And you can simply just check the days, assign the shift of the exact time of day, and say exactly week by week which days they work and what range of time that they'll fall. You'll be able to manage those rotations for each of your members. So this is putting people on 1 day at a time. This is putting people on over a range of time. There's a tool to take people off the schedule in a range of time. You can just be very precise about that. There's a great log in the system as well. Whenever you need to reference something and look back in time, basically your audit trail of anything that's occurred in the system, everything is recorded. We saw the change requests as a simple shortcut here out on the home screen, but they're all stored in detail under this change request log, which is a very handy tool to, again, to put everything in one place and see it all together, all say your pending requests. Here's again those pending requests that are waiting to be approved or denied. Signups, time off, trade, pending admin approval. You'll be able to review the details and again, click on the process link and be able to approve or deny anything you need. And then once they're completed, they'll automatically come down into the request log here, and here's your audit trail. Here's where you can go back to anywhere in the history of time of your system and see exactly what happened for each of your requests, whether it was approved or denied or canceled or whatever happened to happen. And people want to know, hey, I submitted time off and it got denied. Why? Who did that? How did that happen? All those details will be here, and you'll be able to review the details of exactly the history of any transaction. Not only is the history of any transaction recorded, all activity is recorded within the system. Everything from logging in to anything that they click or change within the system by member is also recorded, and that's in what we call under the reports tab here, we have as a system log. This is a great area here where you can really narrow down exactly what everybody's been doing in the system throughout the history of time, if I can get to the right date here. So every little edit or reposition, or even when you delete something, it's recorded. So you have no fear of making a mistake or losing something permanently, because it's all recorded in here and you'll be able to put it back. Setup's been changed whenever your members log in, and see all those different types of things, and you'll be able to narrow it down exactly to what you need. What happened with Joe's shift on May 1st? Who took him off the calendar? You'd be able to narrow it down and find that here. So all activity from all members is recorded in the system. It's one of my favorite parts. Of course, under the reports tab is all sorts of other information here too. A lot of people end up coming to what we call the summary report or the scheduled time report. So we have a summary is just that. It's just basically a total based on type or schedules or time off for each person. It just summarizes their number of hours for you here over whatever range of time that you wish, whether that be your pay periods or by month or week or day again. So you'll see the consistency in those date options there. And you'll be able to analyze it here and be able to customize your report for your needs, right? You'll be able to set it up any way that you want, add and remove what you need to have displayed for your own needs in Payroll here. Payroll would end up probably being more in either the scheduled time report, where it's broken out by shift. So you can see here each shift dispatch here, or if we go over to patrol, we can see for the month, it looks like a monthly payroll, each shift broken down and whether they worked an overtime shift or not, where they were located, exactly how many hours, and everybody has a nice subtotal there. And you'll be able to customize these reports again that can be exported or printed here as well. We have the next evolution of our payroll report here. You may notice here too, this gives you a lot more options in terms of how you set up your payroll. Gives you a lot more opportunity to include, shift overlap rules, how the overtime works for different groups of people. And not only that, you'll be able to basically come into this report and customize again exactly what you might need to, all the way to picking up different columns and moving them to where you want them located, and really fine tune it to the point of what you might need for your payroll and get it as close as you possibly can to the exact format you might need, and be able to export it to where it needs to go. A lot of those details, it's involved. It comes through the setup area, and you'll be able to set up those rules for all your different groups and members as needed to get it where you need it. Other reports in here. Members will be able to see their own individual member report, which is a nice one-stop shop for everything. And there's trades are tracked, for over a range of time, who owes who a trade, that sort of thing. Let's take a look at a couple other elements here beyond the schedule. Forms. I can't iterate enough how cool the forms tool has become over the years. This is literally making your world paperless, and you can customize basically anything that you've had on paper and enter it here on the system, and it all becomes centralized and stored and archived and managed right from the system, and anybody can access it again from anywhere. You can create your own form. You can send us forms to build for you. Or if you go into the configuration here, what's really cool is what we've added the ability here is we've added an entire library of all the pre-made template forms that come from all our customers. We spend a lot of time basically going through all our customers with their permissions and asking for getting the templates that they've created on their own, and how can that best be used and shared with the community of Aladtec here. So we have over 200 forms here that I would bet you're going to find something you could use, and they're all broken out into nice categories here, and you can see anything that you might need, from timesheets to truck checks to order forms, inspections, and of course the ever popular COVID-19 screening form. Have you been checked and so forth, and do you have a fever and all that. So, and then once you have a template at your disposal here, again, it's all drag and drop. You simply take whatever you might need from the left here and just start customizing the form for your own needs to make it whatever you want. You can add all sorts of fields and options in here and organize it as you need, including attachments and signatures if necessary, to capture a signature on a form. And the settings can be set to define exactly who can see the form, who gets to see all the forms, who can manage it, if they need to get pinged notifications, if there's a workflow involved, who it goes to next, kind of a thing. So we really encourage you to take a look at that and be able to utilize that for your members. No more paper in the box or on your desk or whatever. It can all be stored. And then of course, all forms have their own report where you can manage your own work queue, if you will. Show me every form that I haven't signed off on yet. Show me every form that's been submitted for this pay period, or the timesheets, or what do I need to work on today. You'll be able to manage those reports from your forms as well. All right, so hopefully we get a chance of that. Storage is another great option here, where you can upload and store basically into a library your own drive, where it's basically an unlimited space, 200 gigs, to basically upload whatever you might need to have as a reference for your members to see policies, procedures, documents, reporting, lists, videos, pictures. Everything can be organized and put into folders here, and you can make them restricted if they're admin eyes only sort of thing. But they can be something as simple as just a training document where they'd be able to click on a file, it downloads to their device, and it's view only, and they'd be able to read that policy from anywhere. They'd be able to access it from anywhere and see what's going on. Discussions is a nice place here too. If you've seen online forums, so to speak, where members can discuss things back and forth, and you can communicate more shared items such as meeting notes and things, and people can add their own posts to that as well. And we're getting towards the end here too. I want to mention too, there's a mobile site. Of course, there's a mobile site. Everybody on their device, most people are on their device. Your members can interact with the system through their mobile, and it's just formatted a little differently to fit on a screen for the mobile device, right? To make it a little easier to navigate, but it's all the same information, and basically all the transactions can be handled in the same way. Your members will be able to pull it right up on their phone. They can put a little icon on their phone where it looks like every other app, but it's not an app. It's just a shortcut to the website. And it brings this up by default, shows exactly when they're working, see when they're, what needs to be, if they want to sign up for a shift or see any events coming up. Admins will be able to see anything that's on their plate and be able to approve and deny requests from the mobile site. There is a menu here, of course, where the member would be able to look at their own My Schedule page, and again go to any particular page, and it may look a little, shortened with, that's what the colors are, to make it easier to navigate and see what's happening over there and navigate to whatever day that they need to. From a standpoint of that, they can see a daily summary of who's working that day. They can go to their own information. They can fill out forms. They can add to a discussion. So almost everything that's available on the full site can be done on the mobile site, and you could just flip back and forth. If you're on your mobile device and you feel like, I'd rather navigate it and do a little more pinching and squeezing, you can simply just go to the link to the full site, and you could just flip back and forth as you wish. There's a link to do that. It's the same information, but it's available there, of course, as well. For your admins, for top level admins, like I said, there is a setup area here. I'm not going to go into much detail on that, but this is where basically where the cooks go to the kitchen to set up all the rules and templates and what the schedules are, and what all the parameters are for your system. So you'll be able to get to your setup area here and set it up as you wish. As part of the rollout of the system, when you're putting it all together, you're in charge of the rules, right? This is where you put it all together. All right, I think at this point we're rolling along here. I'm going to take a look and see if there's any other questions out here, and see if I can answer some questions. I know Nancy's been probably fielding some for you guys, so I appreciate that. Anne is asking, the most common question: how much does it cost? It is an annual subscription-based software, right? And it's based on the number of members, active members, that are in your system. It's an annual subscription cost, and if annual doesn't work for you, we've worked that out with other services to bill in other fashions. But it's basically based on there is a minimum on the system based on your service. So we invite you to call in and ask about that, to get the details on the cost involved. It is based on the number of members in your system. I think the minimum base pay is based on 41 members of your system, and then it goes per person, up from that per month per person. For that particular for the subscription cost. Everything is included in the system. I notice another question here regarding time clock. So if you have the need for people to clock in and out of the system, there is a function for that where you can turn that on and enable that in your system. There is an additional cost for the time clock functionality, but it allows you to set up what we call time clock kiosks, which are just basically the machine to punch on in and out. It's again another website that you would set up on a designated machine or device where your members can punch in and out, and it'll track against the schedule to show that they punched in and out, and you can set it whether they were early or late and why and that sort of thing, and create another set of records so you can manage their time as well using that option. There is the time clock functionality in there as well. Our system does integrate with a few outside sources, and we're working more and more to expand on those integration partners. That really kind of falls more in the EMS fire side of things. So for law enforcement, I can see it being more interest on payroll integrations, and I promise you we are working on that. We've worked with many of the major payroll companies and to make things a lot easier to transition over, and we've become very familiar with their formats and make it easier for you to work with us to get that information in line to bring over there. Okay, before I get too far along here, take a look at the webinar panel here, and you'll notice there's a section there for handouts. There's a few customer profiles in there from some of our customers to get their take on how they use our system and from their point of view, and it'll give you some ideas there. There's also a PDF there on why Aladtec for law enforcement, to kind of just go down the bullet points again of why it is a good solution for a lot of different areas of what you're dealing with. So take a look at those. Are free downloads, PDF handouts that are over there. And if any of this, sounds like you want to hear a lot more, go right there to the chat section right now, and there's a link there that'll take you to our company webpage where you can sign up for a free demo. And once you click on that and sign up, one of our sales execs will give you a call and just you start just talking over the details and maybe get a nice get a member roster from you and maybe some schedule details and hear about how your system works and what kind of needs that you have, and set you up with a free custom demo. Like I said, you'll be able to just put it all together and spend the time you need to make sure that it's all going to work as you expect and and how you can see it with your own information. And that's the best part of it. You get to do all that for free, and then you get the trial run support for free too. We'll talk with you and get you all set up and walk you through all the different options that are out there. Let me take a second if there's any other questions out. Take a look. Yeah, Trisha's asking, are there any other modules coming? For example, incoming subpoena tracking or off-duty requests. Interesting. I've not heard a couple of those phrases, but I would bet that we could. A couple of those almost sound like a form to me. You could certainly set up a request process through a form, that would be able to notify those that need to know. Time off kind of deals with the off-duty requests. There's, you can set it up to handle all sorts of situations, such as training or court, or off-duty, or outside, jobs and such. I've seen it work in that manner. So those kind of options are out there, and we are expanding all the time. We also take input from our customers all the time about what their needs are, and we've gotten a lot of great ideas, and have ever evolved our system to accommodate those needs. So the more we hear about from you of what's going on out there, and then we kind of pile that together and see across the board what the greatest need is for departments, and try to make that available for you. Okay, I think that kind of sums up where we're at here in terms of the system. I thank you all for joining us today. I don't. We're coming up at 45 minutes. I don't want to go too much further. If you want to hear more information, that's where you pick up the phone. You just give us a call, and we'll get somebody in touch with you to talk through what you have. You can catch us through the phone number there on our website, 888-749-5550, or aladtec.com, and you can sign up for a free demo. We do these webinars every month. We do customer webinars as well. So you'll have all sorts of information of what you might need at your disposal there. Thank you, Nancy, for taking care of some of the questions out there. We'll review those and get back to anybody we didn't catch. And of course, thanks to others, Jesse and others producing our webinars for today. So have a good day, everybody, and be well. Thank you.